Hi there, this is David and welcome to my review of the HARVESTELLA demo, released for the Nintendo Switch and PC. I remember whenever Harvest Moon first came out. It was new and different, and Nintendo Power had a huge feature on it, and I just had to have it. But boy was I let down by it. I kept expecting something fun to happen, but nothing really ever happened. It was just boring drudgery, clearing the field and praying for rain so I wouldn't have to water a million crops. But those farming sims have gotten much better over the years, and I'm sure that Square Enix can't ignore the popularity of Rune Factory or Stardew Valley anymore, so they threw their hat into the ring, and I will say, they did a damn fine job of it. Don't think of this as simply a farming sim, because it's not. Farming, fishing, animal husbandry, and crafting are definitely there, but they all take a backseat to the characters, combat, exploration, and the job system. I would say that this is much more akin to something like Fantasy Life, rather than Harvest Moon. You farm as a means to an end, just as a way to make some money, where the game focuses instead on the interesting story, the likable characters, the beautiful environments, and the engaging combat. The demo consists of the first and second chapters of the game, or 15 days worth of playtime, whichever comes first. And while that might not sound like a whole lot, it really is. I spent over 3 hours toying around with the demo and completing the first 2 chapters in 9 game days. From the get-go, you have the choice of creating a male, female, or non-binary character, and then going through a very simple character creation process, which is also not locked behind gender. It's pretty bare bones, but I would also like to interject here and say that it's really neat that the developers are getting with the times and being more inclusive whenever it comes to their character creation options. At the end of the day though, no matter who you choose, you're still going to be a silent protagonist who's there to save the world. Though, you will be given a multitude of choices. However, I'm not entirely sure if those choices and dialogue options actually really matter. The game is formulaic, and it's split into chapters and days. Each day will consist of some sort of opening vignette, followed by time for you to use as you see fit, and then a scene towards the end of the day. That is, at least in the first chapter. Once the second chapter hits, you're really free to do your own thing, waking up in the wee morning hours and not going to bed until the game forces you to do so. Now, let me also say this. Thank God that the demo isn't just the first chapter, because I found that to be pretty insufferably boring. But it got a whole lot better in Chapter 2 when all the tutorials ended and you were given free reign to explore on your own. Do you want to level up? Focus on your farm? Craft new stuff? Or just head straight to the boss and finish it up? It's all up to you in the open world Chapter 2. Everything that you do takes time, and once the clock hits midnight, it's off to bed with you. You're also limited by a stamina gauge, and everything takes stamina, from planting seeds, to watering, to attacking, to even dashing. So you'd better keep an eye on it, and not run out of stamina in the middle of combat, because if you do, you're going to be not able to attack at all. So, be sure to pop some food into your mouth, and then your stamina will slowly regenerate over time. So, in that way, farming not only comes in handy for money, but also as a way to satiate your never-ending hunger. Shops also have their own opening and closing times, and the townsfolk keep their own schedules too, kinda like another old Square Enix game, Radiata Stories, so that's a pretty neat callback. The story's actually quite intriguing. You play as an amnesiac stuck outside during the quietus, which is the season of death. Then, after you recover, the sea's light, or the massive rock off in the distance, explodes, sending shrapnel towards town. So, you go off to investigate, only to find that it's actually quite technological, and there's an injured omen on the ground. The townsfolk don't trust the omen because they feel like they are behind the quietus. However, you convince them to nurse the omen back to health, only to find out that she's a girl from the future who's been researching the Red Queen, but now she's trying her best to return to her own time instead. Combat is action-based and relatively simplistic. You begin as a fighter, and later on you can become a mage, attacking from a distance. The more enemies that you fight, the more JP you earn, which you can use to learn more skills. Now, don't come into this thinking that it's Stranger of Paradise or anything hard, because this is basic action combat. There's no rolling around, dodging, or doing supersonic break attacks here. Instead, it's just simple attacking, using skills as the timer refreshes, and keeping an eye out for the telegraphed attacks that come from the enemies. You can't choose a difficulty level. However, I will say that it is balanced quite well. I didn't have any major problems as long as I kept the enemies around my own level, and the boss, though, was refreshingly hard, but nothing too frustrating. Harvestella is a slow burn. You come in for the farming and beautiful graphics, but you stay for the haunting piano melodies, fun, enjoyable characters, interesting story, addictive gameplay, and joyful exploration. Considering that I personally normally don't give farming sims much of a chance, I actually had quite a good time with Harvestella. So I ask you now, how did you feel about it? Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video and wanted to hear on the channel, please consider heading on over to Twitch for some streaming fun, checking out Patreon for exclusive videos and early access to my content, or coming on over to my Discord to chat and hang out. The links to them all can be found in the video description. This has been David, and if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.